What's up guys, welcome back for another YgoPro duel video. There was a new Link monster revealed a couple of hours ago earlier today. It's a new Archfiend. Link monster, Link 2. It's definitely part of the supposed rumored leaked list of all the archetypes that would get like a new Link monster, and Archfiends are definitely one of those on the leaked lists. Also a new Cross-Balanced Cup coming up tomorrow, by the way. We have a couple of matches played, so definitely with the YCS London coming up this week, expect more cross-balanced matches starting tomorrow. So the new Link monster is quite decent. At first, when I read its effect, I was like, whoa, this is like a volleyball chain 2.0. But then I read it the second time and then a third time, and I was like, no, not really. This card isn't really too fantastic. Too many restrictions. To get it on board, you only need 2 Fiend-type monsters to get it on the field, and that's not that hard, as you see here in the deck list, like Grinder Golem again giving you the 2 Fiend-type tokens. That's already like immediately you can special summon this card. Tour Guide upon its summon is also pretty much a 1-card Link summon of this Perpetual King Demon, I believe its name is, King Archfiend. But then again, you need... If it isn't for, you know, Tour Guide or Grinder Golem, you need to invest a lot of cards, especially here in this deck. Instant Fusion for the Sheep, for example, for a Fiend type, maybe a normal summon of any Archfiend monster. Eater of Millions on its own is also a Fiend type, so it asks a lot of investment, but you know, that might be worth it if the effects are okay. It has 2 important effects, and the most important thing is that both these effects are not once per turn. So even though the effects aren't really too fantastic, the fact that they aren't once per turn leaves it open to be abused, possibly in the near future. Its first effect states that if you pay any amount of life points during either your own turn or during your opponent's turn, you can send to the graveyard 1 Fiend-type monster whose attack or defense equals the paid amount. So let's say I have this Link monster on the field and I activate like Instant Fusion. Pay 1k life points, special summon the Fusion monster, and then use your Link monster's effect to send Harris, you know, Archfiend Harris, from my deck to the grave, because Harris, you know, has a 1k attack, and eventually get a search off of Harris. Then the second effect can trigger like if any Fiend-type monster is sent to the grave, either from your hand, field or deck, you can roll a 6-sided dice once and apply one of these effects, you know, depending on the monster sent to the grave. Like, if I roll 1, you can add that particular monster back to your hand. If you roll a 6, you can special summon that monster. But if I roll a 2-5, that particular monster that was sent to the graveyard will be shuffled back into the deck. So it's okay. Again, both effects again are not limited to once per turn, but still it again needs somewhat of an investment. And with these effects, you can it's not like a Lavalva chain that you can just send, let's say for example, your for the Infernity Archfiend from your deck to the grave, since either its attack or defense needs to be the same as equal to the amount of life points you paid. So that's important. It's not effect damage, it's life points you definitely pay. So Instant Fusion, Fun Ending Nightmare, for example, are all options. Solemn Strike, Solemn Warning, 1500, 2000, searching out your Empress, for example. 1500 searches out that Terror King Archfiend, for example. So there are possibilities, some possibilities, but still too many restrictions. But yeah, let's see a couple of example duels. Okay, first example again featuring the Grinder Golem. At this point, this is one of earlier duels I played, and I was still only playing 1 Firewall Dragon, so you will only be seeing 1 Firewall, but this is pretty standard, right? With Security Dragon, getting back your Grinder Golem every time, and then use your Magician to send 4 cards, excavate 4 cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard, fueling your Archfiend Reborn cards, and then eventually you could potentially go for the second Firewall Dragon. You will see it later in the duel, or at least in the matches. Use the Instant Fusion, pay 1000, so use the Link to Archfiend's effect to, you know, eventually send that Harris from my deck to the grave, get a search with Harris, and I tried my luck by rolling the dice, and I believe I rolled a 1, to get it back from my grave, back to my hand. Yeah, I think so, but eventually, and that's something I saw during playtesting, is that Firewall Dragon is quite, well, it's not crucial, but it's just nice to have it on the field, to, you know, get all those special summons at least every time, like a linked monster to it leaves that particular monster's zone, and that's one of the reasons why I added in a couple of scapegoats to the main deck as well, some generic support here for this deck, since again, and that's something I did not mention yet, is this is not something tier 1, this is purely a fun, pure casual deck, but again, I wanted to make it as good as possible, as somewhat competitive as possible, and Instant Fusion is a no-brainer because of its cost, and with the new Link monster that's an option, but something like adding scapegoats to, you know, promote some Link summons, go into Firewall Dragon kinda easily, definitely can help out this deck. Grinding through his back row, Pandemonium, the field spell, very nice here, getting those searches, and again, that Link monster's effect is not once per turn, so every time when any Archfiend monster is sent to the graveyard, I can just use its effect and potentially like get it back or summon it back to the field. Another example, no Grinder Golem this time, but at least my first point, at least my first goal of this deck was actually get that, and that trap card I believe is Dead 6, I believe its name is, it's now set, but I believe every time either you or your opponent like uses a dice, and for every 1, 3 or 5 you roll with the dice, that particular result will be threatened or treated as a 6, and you know the other numbers 2, 4, 6 will be treated as being rolled like a 1, as you roll the 1, right? So, you know, using the best effects of your Archfiend Link monster to its fullest potential. But it's gimmicky, but it's, again, not something super consistent. It's also not searchable, Dead 6, so again, it's a bit random, right? But it's cool if you can get it off. So again, 1000 life points, use its effect, or at least try to use its effect to send Harris from my deck to the graveyard, but running to strike, that's all fine, I believe. Yeah, earlier here, I'm not really sure if it was this particular duel. I don't think so. Yeah, anyway, again, main point, at least main goal here is prevent my opponent from getting our Dragon Buster. Draw strike, that's fine. Normal summon tour guide, try to get that another fiend on my side of the field to go over the Link summon, but nope. Get Ash Blossomed, you know, this is hand trap format, everyone and their mother is playing like 12 or more hand traps, and normal summon tour guide, that's definitely going to get blossomed or whatever, right? Yeah, Tornado Dragon is still a very big threat, and now I think I eventually am going to scoop it up, since this Dragon Buster is going to be live next turn. Okay, 1000 Ice Restrict. That's definitely not going to cut it. Here, make a mistake completely forgetting that Archfiend Commander cannot attack, so sacrificing some damage with the Commander and the Koribo, but yeah. Again, as I mentioned before, that's not going to matter too much. Another example, against Light Swarms, the opponent gets to start. Here, again, developing at least evolving the decklist by adding in Desires as well. You know, those extra draws can definitely be very welcome, like more options to work with. Since again, if you don't have Grinder Golem, you need to invest those cards to go for the Link summon. This nice combo of Commander and Cavalry to get some more searches, more special summons, setting up the Link summon, go for Instant Fusion again to get a search with Harris, and try to get lucky with my Archfiend. I believe I don't, so use 1000 times Restrict, go for the Link Koribo and get some field presence going. Okay, I'm in a decent position, still have Eater of Millions in my hand to, you know, deal with my opponent's like threats in the form of a big monster, right? Big monster threat. Although, yeah, milling Double Wolf must be nice. Normal summon Lila to potentially destroy one of my back rows. Tornado Dragon forces out the second one, and now he's free to drop the BLS, and yeah, that escalated quickly, right? Eventually dropping the JD as well, and I believe I'm going to scoop it up here. Yeah, no chance. I believe he ended the Fairy Tail as well, and that's the reason why I ended up scooping it up. Another example featuring Grinder Golem again, why not? Searching out the Pandemonium again, get the Grinder Golem tokens, and here at this point I again was playing double Firewall, so why not? Those options definitely, valuable. You know, as something that I didn't mention, as you saw probably in the side deck as well, you know, Infernoids is something that can definitely take advantage of this new Link monster, like, you know, at every, I believe I also did not mention that as well, during every of your own standby phases, you have to pay 500 life points to keep your Link monster on the field, and you know that 500 life points can potentially lead you searching something like Decathlon, at least, yes, send it to the grave, potentially getting it back. But yeah, next to Infernoids, Infernity is also definitely an option. But again, the life points payment needs to be, is very restrictive if you want to hit that Infernity Archfiend. Go for Measure 7 to get back the Grinder Golem. A solid field, something I definitely wanted to go for, was to go for the, what is it called, the Borleo Dragon. But I believe going for Message 7 was definitely a good option as well. But here, this is unbelievable. He goes for Minerva, right? And okay, he doesn't have like many Light Sworns in his grave. JD is not live yet, so Minerva suiciding into the 2k Link monster. He mills 3 Light Sworns, and that makes JD live, right? Yeah, what can I do, right? What can I do? But yeah, very weak, no Pandemonium Surge in the end phase with Empress. I believe it's Empress, right, being destroyed. And now he should be able to deal the last damage. Yeah, Omega is going to activate as well to again hit the Grinder Golem. And then I just scoop it up. The Dweller, yeah, the Dweller as well. So that's GG, well played. Last example, this was a good one as well. I added it in against Pendulum Magician, something, yeah, any nightmare. Every time paying 1k life points to, you know, send Harris to the grave and potentially get more summons with my Link monster. Go for the Link summon and set, I believe, to back rows. Yeah, very cool. Discard my, my trap, at least my field spell searcher. Use my Link monster's effect, and I believe I drew a 1, so I can get it back from my graveyard and just keep it in hand. I believe Pandemonium was banished off of Desires, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, every time paying 1k life points, triggering the Archfiend again, but yeah, not being that lucky, since I think I always roll like 2, 3, 4 or 5, so the Harris is always sent back to the deck. But you know, Unending Nightmare is MVP against Pendulums, so this was a goner for him. This is the eventual deck list. Again, if you have any opinions, any suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. The new Archfiend Link monster isn't really too fantastic. It's cute in something like Infernoids maybe, Infernities maybe, but then again the restriction of the life points, that doesn't really help Infernities, right? In Archfiends it's kinda cute, but still it's quite hard and needs a lot of investment to get on the field, and it doesn't really give you that huge pluses like for example Cherubini of the Burning Abyss can potentially give you. Okay guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.